And welcome back to the How to Podcast series. It's Dave with you. Hope you're doing well. I am pulling back some episodes from the past and bringing them forward for you because, well, they're good stuff. And you probably haven't heard it. Because, let's be honest, right? You came here, this is like episode 708. You're like, the chances of me going back and hearing 707 episodes plus of the How to Podcast series, pretty slim to none. I am the type of podcast listener who will, so if you send me your podcast, I will listen to all of it because I love giving you those numbers because that's encouraging, right? And I actually listen. I'm not like all these other gurus who just give you advice but never listen to your show. I don't understand gurus who do that. Anyways, back to it, Dave. Come on, get back to it. I will listen to your show. I love doing that. But the chances of you going back and listening to over 700 episodes, I know. You mean well, but you're probably not going to do that. So, but there's some good stuff in there. There's some really good things from the past that I think still warrants discussion, still warrants bringing it to your attention. And I think this one is really a good one as well, because how we get back into our routine as a podcaster, there's going to be times where you're going to get off track. Life is going to get in the way. Something's going to happen. And it's going to derail you from your show. And like, how do I get back to loving my podcast again? How do I get back to making this thing what I loved it for in the beginning, but I've kind of drifted away from it. And I'm like, I've lost, you know how you lose your keys? You've lost your podcast. Just like you lose your keys. You're like, dang it, where did I put that podcast? Yeah. We want to get back in love with our podcast again, get back on track, and maybe just getting back into our podcast routine and tweaking it could really help. So here's that episode. I'm bringing it back so that you can hear it for the first time, or it's a refresh. It's going to be a small fraction of my audience. I get that. But for the majority of us, this is the first time you're going to hear this, and I think it's worth bringing forward. So here is a blast from the past, a younger, a little less gray-haired version of Dave here on the podcast. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll join you at the end. We'll touch base before we go, but here we go. And welcome back to the How to Podcast series, The Daily Dave. My name is Dave, and this is a daily podcast sometimes. And the idea behind this is when things pop into my brain or things come across my desk or when I meet with clients, I have great conversations with these people, and I think, wow, you know what? I'd love to bring this over to you. And A, I'd love to work with you, first of all, but B, I would love to share the knowledge that is happening in client meetings and interactions with other podcasters where we're not on the mic recording, we're just doing podcasting life together. And as I meet with these great people and talk through the things that are holding them back, I'm thinking, I wonder if this is impacting you in your podcast, and maybe it is, or you know someone that is being impacted in this way, and this might be helpful. So instead of keeping everything hidden from you, I'd much rather share it with you. And we're talking about how to get your podcast back on track. And sometimes we just get overwhelmed in our podcast journey and things get difficult and we get behind. And then we feel guilty that we're behind. And then we stop doing episodes and then we just quit. I want to keep you from falling into this trap. It happens very subtly. It can happen over a period of time, and you're like, dang, I haven't recorded an episode in weeks. And your audience is like, hey, man, what the heck, man? Where's so-and-so? I love your show. I hope you're okay. I have no idea. I haven't heard from you in ever, and you're my routine. You're my person. So I hope you're okay. And that's what your listeners thinking about you when they don't see you show up. So they're worried about you. I'm worried about you. You're worried about yourself. So there's a whole bunch of people worried, and you can fix it by doing a couple simple things. So how do you get back on track for your podcast? One of the best things you can do is reestablish your routine. We're going to talk about it here on the podcast. Let's reestablish our routine, everybody. Let's get back into the swing of things. Okay, here we go. Sometimes we give up on our podcast just because we get overwhelmed with calendar. It's summertime. You know, who wants to be inside recording when we could be at the beach or playing with the kids or cutting the grass or, cleaning up the garden or washing the car or going for ice cream. I like ice cream. Dairy Queen. I get the Oreo Blizzard with extra. That's my order. Jen basically orders anything that's new. She loves everything. So, yeah, ice cream. Now I want ice cream. Oh, you did it. Okay, so, yeah, back to it, Dave. Come on, come back to the... Okay, here we are. Dave's back. We need to reestablish our routine. You remember that routine, where every Friday you go out and that's the grocery day, or every Monday is date night, or Tuesday is cheap movie night, or every Saturday we go to the drive-in because it's summer and drive-in movies are fun. You have a routine. You do things on certain days. You become a creature of habit. Your listeners are creatures of habit. They show up for your podcast on a regular basis around their calendar, not around your release schedule. Doesn't really matter when you release your podcast, everyone, so relax. There's no magic bullet. If the best time to release a podcast is Monday at 9 a.m. and everyone in the world releases at Monday at 9 a.m., it's no longer the best time to release a podcast because everyone is doing it. Doesn't that make sense? So don't worry about what day, what time, no, please. Just release it when it works for you. Is that a level of stress for you right there? Is that I didn't miss that time frame this week and I'm all like bummed out? Please don't. Your episode can come out Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. I don't have time for you until Wednesday at 5. As long as the episode's there by Wednesday at 5 or Thursday afternoon at 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. where I work at midnight shift, I really don't care what time your podcast comes out. I will move my schedule around. I'll listen to something else while I'm waiting for you. But I've subscribed to your podcast, so you don't have to tell me. Just release it when you can. Don't be stressed out about what time of day, or if you missed it by 5 minutes. The world is not going to crumble, everyone. It's just a podcast. It's not brain surgery. So relax. Please, let that be a de-stressor for you. You don't have to hit some magical time of day and time of week to be a success in your podcast. That's ridiculous. Please stop. We need to get back into our routine. And the first thing we need to do is to set a realistic recording schedule for our podcast. The key word in this is realistic, everyone. Realistic. Don't put yourself into a corner where you can't meet an unrealistic goal for your podcast recording schedule. Instead of trying to return to your previous frequency, which maybe threw you off track, consider a more manageable schedule, such as maybe bi-weekly, meaning every second week, fortnightly for our friends across the pond. Maybe you do it monthly. Monthly is better than nothing. That's 12 episodes a year. That's better than 0 episodes a year, everyone. That's easy math. Maybe just reducing the length of your episode from an hour to 15 minutes or an hour to 30 minutes. Just by going from an hour to 30 minutes, you cut your workload in half. If that's what you need to give yourself back time, then in the span of recording one episode over a 1 hour period, if you recorded 2 episodes, 30 minutes each, in the same time frame, you've just done 2 weeks content. Or if you're doing it every second week, you've just done a whole month in 1 hour. Re-establish and give yourself a more realistic recording schedule. Maybe you went too hard, too fast at the beginning, and you're burning yourself out because you have this crazy notion that you have to do something to this level or you will not be a success. There's a lot of gurus out there that are going to tell you, if you miss a week, you're done. Pack it in, close up shop. Oh my gosh. And these people are what we call paranoid, that they're going to lose their entire audience if they don't hit this magical goal of, I got to be out there every single week. And if I miss that 6 a.m. Monday morning, everything's going to fall apart. That's just not true. It is not true. And in some cases, your audience is going to appreciate the fact that you took a break because they have like X number of episodes from you and all of the other podcasts. By the way, podcast listeners listen to other shows beside yours. I know that stings a little, but it's true. They do like other people. And this gives them a chance to go listen to those other shows they haven't even heard yet, that are sitting in their queue waiting to be listened to. So a break from you is not a bad thing. It could be a bonus and a blessing to many people. So be kind and give people back some time. And don't create an episode because it's Monday. Create an episode because you actually have something to say. Your audience will appreciate you for it. And they'll also appreciate the break. We can take a break from your voice and we'll be fine. Okay? So if this is feeling like a stressor for you, that you're not meeting this magical recording schedule date and commitment, it's not really true. It's all inflated. A lot of it's in your brain. And people are fine with you taking a break, really. So set a more realistic recording schedule. This is going to reduce the pressure and improve your content quality and your longevity for your show. Set a more realistic recording schedule. And the second part of reestablishing your routine is batch record your episodes. When you bake cookies, you don't bake one cookie at a time. You create a batch of cookies, like a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen. You don't create one cookie at a time. That would be the weirdest recipe ever. 3 chocolate chips, this much salt, this much flour. That would be ridiculous to make. Turn the oven on for one cookie. Unless you got an easy bake oven, I don't think that's a good idea. You're going to bake them in batches. And I love fresh cookies out of the oven. Jen makes amazing chocolate chip cookies. They are awesome. And I love when cookies are made that fills the house with great smells, right? You know those smells. It's like, oh my gosh, I smell cookies. You don't create one cookie at a time. You don't have to create one podcast at a time. Again, back to a client I talked to recently. They record their interviews one day before the release date. And if their guest doesn't show, they're totally screwed. They don't have any content this week because their guest didn't show up. Why don't you give yourself a gap where you have something recorded in advance so that you're not doing it the day before release date? Give yourself some room, everyone. And if that means taking 2 weeks off of your podcast, no releases so that you can record in advance, then do that. It's going to give you some breathing room. If you can sit down, your kids are out of the house, it's quiet, your partner's at work, there's nothing going on, the dog's sleeping, and you have 2 hours, record more than one episode. Just record them both now and release them in the future. And now the only thing that's going to be hard is if you do a news-based podcast, you have to kind of wait for the news to happen so that you can talk about it. So this you're at a little bit of disadvantage for batch recording. But if you have a topic or a subject matter or anything that allows you to talk in advance about something, then do that. Batch record. I mentioned November is National Podcast Post Month. We release an episode a day for the month of November. That's 30 episodes in a row. That's overwhelming to do in October and November, but quite manageable in July. So go ahead and record all of your November episodes now. If you got a few minutes, jump on, record your 5, 10, 15-minute episode and preload it for November. That's called batch recording. It's going to give you back time. Time with your family, time with yourself, time to be creative, and allows you to record into the future. It is the back to the future way of podcasting. I'd encourage you to try it and batch record some of your content this week. As I mentioned, I have a link in the show notes for you and I to get together and talk about your podcast and give you the opportunity to talk to me, and we can talk to each other and help you with your show. And if you're struggling with getting back on track with your podcast, I'd love to help you. howtopodcast.ca. Check the notes in the show notes, and we're going to talk soon. Take care. So there you go. I found your podcast. By the way, you set it down over there. I picked it up. Here it is. Your podcast is back. Let's get back into the driver's seat. Let's get back into why we love this show so much, and look forward to connecting with you on the next episode. So there you go. A little blast from the past. Thank you for being here. Thank you for checking out the show, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care. You're still here. Like I was just locking up. I was just shutting all the lights off, and I realized you're still sitting here. So, cool. Yeah. Thanks for hanging around. Wow. Okay, this is where I do a little extra stuff at the end. Most people will never hear this, just you and me. So you've unlocked the secret code. Well done. Well done for you. I like it. Okay, podcast episode titles. Super important. Please put some thought into your titles. Doing the Joe Rogan thing where he puts, like, if I was on his show, which I probably will never be invited on Joe Rogan's podcast, I don't know. He would just have like episode number and then Dave Campbell. Like, who's Dave Campbell? No, unless you're a big star or somebody famous, nobody knows who Dave Campbell is. Well, you might because you listen to the show, but nobody knows who I am. And that's all he has. That's the title, Dave Campbell. I'm like, talk about phoning it in, Joe. Come on, Joe. Have you been listening to the How to Podcast series, Joe? We can make your show better. So Joe has his own rules because he's Joe Rogan. He can do whatever the heck he wants. And none of this stuff really applies to him because he's freaking Joe Rogan. So yeah, good luck, right? But you can't do that because you're not Joe Rogan. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't listen to the show. You are not Joe, so you can't just follow his example. And I think that the big shows are terrible examples of how to podcast. That's why this is called the How to Podcast series, because I want to direct you in a better direction for your podcast. Right? I want to show you a different path. When you do your podcast episode titles, think about the beginning of the episode title is probably the most important. The end of it, not so much. How about the name of your guest? If you have a guest on your show, should you put their name in the podcast title? There's a lot of gurus who are going to tell you that's a waste of time. Don't do it. But I want to honor the people that are on my show. Living the Next Chapter, my author podcast, it's all about the guest. It's not about me at all. So every episode has the name of my guest, and I put it up front because it's about them. So these rules that you hear people say are just crap. They're no rules. And I really get frustrated by these gurus who keep telling you that there's a rule of the podcast titles. There's no rules. Do whatever the heck you want. So anyway, so have the name of your guest in there. I think it's a great idea. Your guest is going to appreciate it because you're actually helping them with their SEO as well, right? Search engine optimization, because you have their name in the show. So do that. It's a good thing to do. So I like that. I like episode numbers in my title. Come for me if you wish. But for me, I find it a lot easier to explain or send people to my show. There's going to be gurus who are going to tell you the exact opposite of what I just said. Your choice. Choose your own adventure. Whatever you want to do that. But there's no rules. So if somebody tells you it's a rule to not put your episode number in the title, they are lying to you. There you go. They're lying to you. So there's no rules. Do whatever the heck you want. You can have the shortest episode title, like Dave Campbell on the Joe Rogan podcast, Dave Campbell. You can have that, or you can have a great title that brings people in, makes people curious about the content. Have something in there that sparks curiosity for your potential listener. That's the best way to do a title. How you do that is completely up to you. And if you want to sit down and talk about titles together, you and I, we can pull up a bunch of your past episodes, and I'll give you some ideas about maybe how we can tweak those titles, make them a little bit more engaging, and maybe get you more listens at the same time. Titles are completely your call. Don't do them my way. Do them your way. Pick out what works for you, what you think your audience is going to connect with the most, and do that. Measure, test and measure, test and measure, test and measure. That's how you're going to get better episode titles. Not by going to some guru for 5 easy payments. No, you need to pick this for yourself. It's time for you to put on your big pants and figure it out. And if you need help, don't do it alone. Don't podcast alone. Howtopodcast.ca. See you tomorrow. Take care.